What are some really subtle signs that a person is actually stupid? The best way to tell if someone is stupid is if they consistently don't learn from mistakes. They don't seem to comprehend what they did caused the problem even after being told numerous times. Personally, I believe a person is stupid when they refuse to learn and willingly choose to stay ignorant. I'm not talking about people that are unable to learn. I'm talking about people that are able to learn, yet they choose not to. My ex's grandmother refused to learn how to type. Her vision was fine. Her fingers were fine. She had email and a computer, but she refused to touch a keyboard. If she wanted to send an email, she would wait until one of her children visited her and then have them type it out for her. Dealing with someone like that right now. Best example is I gave them an itemized list of questions I needed answered. They only sent back the first item on the list and still fricked it up. I work in automotive and was at a government summit once showcasing our cars. Had a lady at a pretty influential position who asked me the difference between a rear-wheel drive and a 4WD car. After I was done explaining, she asked me what's the point of having front wheels on a rear-wheel drive car. My brain had to reboot to comprehend that question. Become an expert in a field of your choice and start to realize that way too many people in your field are no experts at all. Looking at you, veteran IT admins in Germany. Don't ever become a lawyer. Holy crap, the emperor has no clothes. Overconfident in a subject that they clearly know nothing of, and try to tell you you're wrong after facts have been presented. Honestly, as I get older, I realize more and more that some of those subtle signs really just reflect a lack of people skills or a lack of self-awareness. Sometimes a lack of people skills or a lack of self-awareness could be related to asynchronous development issues, or even mental illness. So sometimes, I try not to jump to the conclusion that someone could be stupid. That being said, I would say that a lot of stupid people, at least the ones who I've met, feel a compulsive need to put others down in the most vicious way possible. Those same people also can't catch smoke when people respond back. A perfect example would be an ex-girlfriend of mine who would have no problem body shaming any other woman in the room, but would go ballistic whenever someone teased her about gaining 1 kilogram. Not being able to admit they were wrong. Though sometimes this is a sign of immaturity, there's a strong correlation with stupidity. I'd say it goes even beyond admitting. Smart people might also have trouble admitting a mistake to other people due to pride, but stupid people won't even consider the possibility that this sort of thing might happen. Someone I love took an online IQ test. They proudly shared their score of 300. The test came back negative. I don't know how subtle this really is, but insisting that something isn't real just because they personally haven't experienced it. Case in point, an acquaintance who was convinced that catcalling wasn't as prevalent as people made it seem, because well, I've barely ever seen it happen like, yeah, bro, you're 6'3", bearded, and built like a defensive lineman. Of course people aren't gonna be catcalling many women you're walking with. Jesus. Getting angry at novel situations or ideas instead of responding with curiosity. Never saying they don't have enough information to make a judgment. Misjudge the outcomes of their actions. For example, being surprised that they were fired after being a no-call no-show at their work. They think smart people are personally attacking them or showing off because they feel insecure around smart people. If something goes wrong, it has to be someone's fault, and it's not them. Black and white thinking. They never see nuance in situations. Answers to complex situations are aggressive and too simplistic. They're unable to explain their opinions. They can't show their work of how they came to that conclusion. Their worldview contradicts itself. Their opinions don't match up when a uniform application of the same principles is applied to their multiple beliefs. Not remembering when they held a different belief. Literally actually forgetting that they held a different position. Smart people recall times they had inferior beliefs and they acutely remember the process of evolving to a better opinion. Smart people don't necessarily admit to being wrong outwardly all of the time, but they admit it to themselves. Not being aware that they are not good at something. Over-evaluating their proficiency. Also, when they are proficient, they literally do not remember when they were not, and see people still learning as inferior. For example, thinking someone with broken English lacks intelligence. Or, thinking someone who doesn't have their specific narrow set of skills lacks intelligence, such as car mechanic skills etc., lacking insight into the behavior of others. This is especially apparent around children, as children don't have the capacity to respond to situations like an adult. Low intelligence individuals often expect children to behave like adults, or they project adult intentions onto children's behavior. They're purely reactive. Nary a thought occurs before anything they do. If something is done or said, they immediately react without any consideration for what just happened. No insight or introspection after the fact, either. Just stimulus, response, stimulus, response. I knew someone stupid low IQ, and some things were belief in conspiracy theories. I read this article about our president being part of the Illuminati. It could be true. Bad driving. I don't mean reckless driving or inability to drive. I mean bad judgment of situations on the road. Oh look, all these cars are parked in the middle of the road. That's stupid of them. Proceeds to overtake a long line of cars that were stopped at a red light. Impossibility to understand their own hypocrisy in some situations. Little participation in conversations about thought-provoking subjects. Reliance on the opinions of others to form their own. They were so sweet and kind though, and they had a really good job at the National Agricultural Research Center. They worked in labs running experiments all day for decades and were excellent at their job. They were comfortable sharing that their IQ was low, but despite it, they led a good life and had an impressive career. Although I definitely got very frustrated with them so many times to the point I can't stand them, and I'm glad I don't see them anymore. Being unable to differentiate disagreement from hatred and thinking anyone who doesn't agree with all of your opinions is hateful and evil. I'm 29 and recently I've discovered how important nutrition is for your brain functions. Was eating junk food for a while very regularly, and it was obvious to me afterwards how stupid I was. Looking at my assignments etc., there is such a difference. Bad reasoning. Like a discussion, they come to the wrong conclusion. Sometimes it's bad judgment and not being stupid, but that's frequently a distinction without a difference. I feel like there's a lot of different interpretations of the word stupid, and it seems the majority of the comments are going with the interpretation that means ignorant, which I'm not saying is incorrect, but I was hoping for responses for people who are simple. I feel like I know and interact with plenty of people who are ignorant in a lot of different ways, and some of them willfully so, but I wouldn't necessarily say any of them are actually unintelligent. I feel like for me, stupid is more a word I'd use to describe someone's behavior rather than the person themselves, even though I'd find those ignorant people more likely to be saying or doing something that is stupid, or even a way someone would describe their lack of a skill or unfamiliarity with a given subject or topic. But for a person who is actually unintelligent, low IQ, incapable of learning beyond a certain point, I'd be more likely to describe them as simple or not all there or something to that effect. And to answer Arp's question, those people often just don't understand things that most people do, and might not even realize that's the case. So I guess I'd say a truly unintelligent person is probably also incredibly naive. My friend's fiancé is adamant that wiping back to front is fine. She then explained that she uses the TP to wipe, then dabbed herself to clean up by using the same piece of TP. She also immediately looks at her fiancé when I've said things to her like she can't have ideas on her own. She's nice, just kind of, I don't know, simple. Yes, the supply of eggs is finite, but healthy women don't run out of eggs before menopause. There are other mechanisms at play that turn off female fertility. The whole women only have a certain amount of eggs is kind of a pop science half myth with no relevance to most people. My ex-girlfriend called them noun people. They talk about people, places and things, never about concepts. My friend, that car, that club, what I like to eat, those clothes. There usually aren't any. Stupid people are extremely overconfident and non-subtle about their shortcomings. They make statements in absolute, matter-of-fact forms, and will fight tooth and nail to defend their misconceptions. Being conditioned ain't necessarily lack of intellect, lack of independent mental processing skills, controlled, manipulated and influenced. I use conditioner and I'm perfectly intelligent. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.